What's happening, people? I am going to be previewing UFC Fight Night Long Island, Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega in the featherweight division. Fantastic fight, fantastic main event. I think it's number two against number three, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and it's a solid all round card, and it's really great to see the UFC moving away from the Apex now for the fight night events. Like, you remember they started moving back to arenas and stuff last year for the pay-per-views, and then I think this year the first non pay-per-view card with fans was UFC London, and that was fantastic. And of course, I'm gonna be looking forward to breaking down the fights for next week with UFC London. But this week we have UFC going back to Long Island, and the first time in a long time, I think, since Chris Weidman fought Kelvin Gastelum back about 5 years ago. Yeah, so to me, like, honestly, right now the featherweight division is the most fun division to watch, especially the rank guys. Like, even the fights they put together this year, Josh Emmett, Calvin Taylor. You always knew that was gonna be fire. People were still clamoring to see the trilogy. Max Volk 3. Like a significant amount of people thought that Max won the second fight, and I mean he took out the next best guys, so there was nowhere else really for the UFC to go other than to put a cap on that trilogy, and then we got kind of young undefeated guys like Bryce Mitchell and Movsar Evloev, and I don't think Ireland Allen's undefeated, but he's undefeated in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. At least he's on a 9 fight win streak. Um, so there is young contenders coming through, but it would appear that Yair Rodriguez will get the next shot, um, just based on his popularity and his ranking, with a win against Brian Ortega. Because, like, even if you look at the last fights, you know Yair fought Max last, very close fight, excellent fight, loved it, yeah. Um, yeah, and Brian Ortega, he had a title fight with Volkanovski, and like, what's interesting is both these guys don't tend to be very active. They have maybe like one fight a year. So actually, I'm slightly surprised to see them coming back like relatively soon, by their standards in their careers. And let's get into the main event, shall we? I just have my other phone here. Just bear with me. Okay, so Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. I'm just gonna look at their stats real quick. Just because I like to have a visual of the tail of the tape. Just to give you guys a better idea of records and heights and stuff like that. Brian Ortega, he's 31 years of age. They have him here as 5'9", although I think he's 5'8" in UFC. You see, that's the thing. That's the other thing about UFC. Um, the build heights and the build weights. The Okay, obviously they have the weigh in, but like the heights. I did notice that I don't believe that some of the fighters' heights are completely accurate, because, like, I was watching, like, I'll give you an example. You remember back in the day, like Conor McGregor against Eddie Alvarez, and they're both 5 foot, supposedly 5'9", but McGregor looked at least 2 inches taller than him. Like, that's one example. And then they had Gregory Rodriguez, and he was supposedly 5'10", and he looked absolutely gigantic. And then the next fight, suddenly he was 6'3". Like, I don't know. I just think, like, at the apex of, like, professional combat sports, they should at least be able to get to be able to get their height right. It's not that difficult. Like, fair enough if you're wrong by an inch here or there, but I mean, like, size does make a difference. Even an inch does make a difference. Am I right, ladies? No, but yeah, that's so. No, but I just noticed, like, Shane Burgos, they have him listed as 5'11", and that dude is fucking massive. But they had him, and for featherweight, like, and they had him, but they had him standing next to Jordan, and they looked about the same height. Like, I mean, Burgos might have been slightly taller than him. So if Jordan is 5'9" and Burgos is supposedly 5'11", I'd say Burgos is more like 5'10". But that's just nitpicking. But there are some serious discrepancies in the heights. So, you know, I'm just a stickler for these type of things. So I think it's not asking too much for UFC to get it accurate. But anyway, we'll say they're right, and we'll say Brian Ortega is 5'11", or 5'9". Sorry, so he's between 5'8" and 5'9", right? Brian Ortega, 31 years of age. Let's see, record is 15-2. 15 and 2 record with one no contest. Uh, so his last, just bear with me, guys. Okay, so last fight lost to Alexander Volkanovski. Before that, he decisively beat the Korean Zombie. Uh, 5-round decision, and then before that, he lost to Max Holloway. Knocked out Frankie Edgar before that, and submitted Cub Swanson. So he's 3-2 in his last 5 fights, and yeah, he doesn't really fight all that often. Like, okay, he had the Cub Swanson one, turned it around 3 months later on short notice against Frankie Edgar. You could see a massive size difference there. Yeah, I mean, I'd say he is 5'9", actually, because he looked a lot fucking taller and bigger than Edgar, and Edgar's 5'6". So knocked out Frankie. I mean, classic fight against Max Holloway. I mean, you know he got handled. Let's just be honest. I mean, Max put on a masterclass against him, but it was very fun scrap, and he showed the heart of a champion. Chan Sung Jung, Korean Zombie, I thought that was his best performance. I actually had Korean Zombie picked to win that, believe it or not. But again, he took nearly 2 years out, in between the Max Holloway and Korean Zombie fight, and then he actually got a title shot against Volk, off the back of it. Now, in fairness, they tried to put that fight together. I think it was supposed to be the co-main to Stipe Francis too, in March of last year, and then Volk got COVID, so they ended up main eventing in September, and they were the coaches on Tough, and fantastic fight. Volk more or less dominated the majority of that fight, but I mean, you've got the iconic third round. Ortega having him in a tight guillotine. But if there's one guy in the UFC that's gonna get out of something like that, it's Volk, because the guy doesn't have a neck. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like a solid little straight out of fucking Middle Earth motherfucker, like like Josh Emmett or Vittori. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Volk, the overgrown hobbit. Love Volk, by the way, legend, right? But yeah, Volk is one tough son of a gun. Like, he just he's not gonna quit, and you're gonna literally have to separate that guy from consciousness to end the fight. And yeah, classic moment there. But yeah, Ortega just burned his arms out and then made Volk angry, and Volk ended up smashing him. But I mean, again, went to decision. Great fight. The UFC obviously giving Brian Ortega title shots. Like, he's had 2 title shots in his last 3 fights, so he's 0-2 in title shots. I don't really think they can give Ortega a title shot again, especially with Volk being a champion. I mean, would I like to see that fight again at some stage? Yeah, yeah, and I would like to see that fight again at some stage. Um, it's always going to be a fun fight between those two, but I think it's going to be very interesting. Like, if Yair wins, Yair probably gets a shot. Don't know if it's fair, but that's the way it is. Just because probably does better numbers, Mexican market, popularity. Josh Emmett isn't really like Yair's a bigger name, let's be honest. Um but like yeah, if T City wins, you probably have to give it to Emmett, you know. Like I mean there'd be uproar if Brian Ortega got his third title shot and he's like 2-2 in his last four. That's if he wins, and two of his last, and you know, yeah. So like because literally it's just like win a fight, you get a title shot. So no, I think I don't I I just don't see how this fight will get T City title shot next. At least it shouldn't. But yeah, so let's look at Yair Rodriguez. Right, he's 29 years of age, 5'11". Yair Rodriguez, 29 years of age. Just pulling up here. 5'11", 13-2 record, I believe. Uh, okay, okay. So 13 wins, 3 losses, one no contest. Yeah, 5'11", 29. So taller guy, younger guy. You know, records even enough. You know, very quite evenly matched records. Uh, you remember he had that war with Max Holloway, beat Jeremy Stevens. Oh, what a fight! What a fight that was. No contest, Jeremy Stevens. Oh my days. Yair is in all the bangers. I'll tell you that much, guys. Chan Sung Jung, fight of the year candidate right there, and Frankie Edgar. He got smashed by Frankie Edgar. Okay, so he's he's 2-2 with one no contest in his last five, right? But don't read too much into the no contest because that fight lasted 15 seconds and I had to be stopped because of an eye poke. Yeah, Frankie Edgar he got smashed. Let's be real. Chan Sung Jung he was losing that fight and with 1 second left in a 5 round fight he came over. He came over with like, and that's impressive actually because as a Muay Thai practitioner myself, I haven't quite mastered that technique yet. This might be something I'll have to start practicing. But no, yeah, you have to go back and look at that. You know, watch that fight or watch the highlights. Just yeah, I think it was something he was practicing with Cowboy in the back, and it's just like a Hail Mary thing. You know, 1 second left on the clock, he just threw it up. It was like I don't even know what I'd call it. It was an elbow, but it was like I mean, um, a, a backwards elbow. I don't even know it. I don't even know what you call it, but it was that's that's why Yair is dangerous. That's why Yair is dangerous, and why Yair is unpredictable. So I'm gonna give you my prediction in this fight. First of all, I don't think that either way. Like I wouldn't argue too much either way. Whoever you decided to pick, I think it will be a war. I think it will be one of those fights that we're talking about as you know potential fight of the year candidates. I'm going with Ortega. I'm going with Ortega. I think I'm going with Ortega by via like a fourth round submission. Probably like a guillotine or maybe a triangle. Like, I know. I mean T City, right? But I mean, I know that might sound like a bit of cop out, but I'm probably gonna go guillotine, and I think, but at the same time, your ear could beat the piss out of Ortega, well, actually, I do think that's gonna happen. Like, I do think Ortega's gonna be down. I think Yair is gonna beat the piss out of him. For the most part, not that Ortega's stand up's bad. Like I thought Ortega showed actually legit stand up against the Korean Zombie, but every fight starts in the feet, and on the feet, you would definitely have to give the advantage to Rodriguez. I mean, Yair Rodriguez could come out here and just style him and just blitz him. But the thing is, they're Mexican, you know, like Brian Ortega also has that Mexican heart. He has that Mexican warrior spirit. We've seen him being down and almost. that was like a theme throughout his career. Going back quite a long time now. Like you had Renato Moicano was clearly on his way to winning that fight. Ortega caught up a late submission. Clay Guida, same thing. Like Ortega is he's the NFL team in the fourth quarter who always has that comeback win. That's the type of fighter he is. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Yair is gonna be down. He's gonna be beaten up. Or sorry, not Yair. Ortega. He's gonna be down. He's gonna be beaten up, and I just think we saw grappling deficiencies in Yair's fight against Frankie Yeager. Now Ortega is not a wrestler, but I don't know. I just feel like I think like it might not happen. He might not get the chance to get him down on the mat, but I just think it's gonna be something like Yair's gonna knock him down. Yair's gonna knock him down, and then he's gonna be overzealous, and he's gonna like follow him onto the mat, and then Ortega is gonna have enough of his wits about him, and he's like one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the game. And he's gonna lock something up, and I'm not convinced about Yair's grappling, or I don't know that much about his submission game because I haven't seen it. But anyway, I have to make a pick here, and it's I mean I don't know if I'd be putting money on it now, but Yair is my pick for that main event, and I'm stay tuned because I will be breaking down the rest of the main card. It's a phenomenal main card, and I think between the two featherweight fights on the main card, between the main event and Shane Burgos Charles Jourdain, which in my book should be the co-main event. I mean, you could have two fight of the year candidates on one card. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the content, and I will be pumping more out to you very soon. Peace.